Okay, guys, before we officially start, DeVoe, you have agreed to adhere to PG-13 rules for this, yes?
Yes. Contrary to what the fans want, but yes.
I know. We love DeVoe Unleashed. But at the same time, for these episodes about the movie, I want to make sure everyone can listen. And for this pregame episode especially, we might have people listening on their way to the movie in the car, and I want to make sure everyone can listen and enjoy. But PG-13 rules do allow for...
Do we? Yeah, what is...
Sure, but also you get one.
No. I don't want that because I want you to have it.
Oh, no, I wouldn't take the one F-bomb.
Listen, I'm just... Well, then, Bert...
Couldn't we all use it at the end together?
It's just at the same time.
At the same time.
I guess
just one really loud, good F.
And Bernie, would you like to do the honors and give people their non-spoiler warning?
We are in good shape for listening to this episode because all of the things we're talking about are happening before the movie actually comes out. So you don't have to worry about stopping it and waiting. We're going to talk about our feelings about the movie, but it's nothing to do with actually July 10th or 11th, whenever you get
7th.
Or 7th.
That's
right.
7th, 8th.
Or Amazon Prime. 8th. Is it the Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime is 8th, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I better write that down.
He'll be sitting outside the theater on the 7th waiting for about 12 hours.
In a Superman tent and a onesie.
We love it. But that's right. So there won't be any spoilers. And even in terms of what we share based on what we've seen in clips and whatnot, we'll tread delicately in case there's anything that's really substantial that we think maybe not everyone has seen or heard yet. Nice. The last thing, have you guys been enjoying our new theme music that started with episode 200 on the podcast here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wrote that again?
Dan Pritchard from Australia. So I want to give a shout out to Dan. Dan came into my life. I've never met him in person, but he came into my life after I did my very first documentary film about alternate realities. We have a mutual friend and he reached out, and he has been my Australian guardian angel. I can't tell you how much music he has provided me over the years. And for the first 199 episodes of Digging for Kryptonite, we had music by a band called Basic Printer. Shout out to Jesse. He let me use his stuff for all those episodes and other podcasts as well. Really, really appreciate it. But as we were approaching 200, I was like, I just want to switch it up a little bit. And I wanted something that was unique to Digging for Kryptonite, as opposed to a song I was allowed to use. I wanted something that was specific to the show. And all I really said to Dan was soaring. I wanted something that felt soaring.
Very specific.
I'm not musically inclined.
Specifically vague.
Like Bernie, as a musician yourself, like you would have been able to give more substantive guidance, but all I had was soaring.
I wanted to crescendo here.
Yes.
But I can't tell you guys, we were at the Bronx Zoo with our son and friends of ours and their kid. And when I got the email with the music, and there's really only one thing at the zoo that I'll skip, and that's the penguin house. It's natural, it's beautiful, but I can't deal with the smell.
Oh.
I just can't.
Say, no one skips the penguins.
It's the classiest place. They're all in tuxedos.
I know, but I was standing outside. Waiting for them, and the email came through, and there I am in this little corner under the shade at the Bronx Zoo, blasting this new music, and I was like, yes. So thank you, Dan, officially on the show, because it's really been great, and I've gotten great feedback from the audience. So I just wanted to give a special shout out to Dan.
Yeah,
I dig it.
All right, on that note, Dan, take it away. Welcome to Digging for Kryptonite, a Superman fan journey. I'm your host, Anthony Desiato. This is the official pregame show for James Gunn's Superman, and I am joined in studio by a pair of guests. To my right, from the Garden State, real-life Lobo cosplayer, Justin DeVoe. Welcome.
That's right. But I'm not the most important person here. Let's face it.
That's
coming from
talk.
Even further.
Well, to my left, originally from the Garden State, but now hailing from Skokie, Illinois, home of All Yeah Comics Skokie, sweet Bernie Gersmeyer. Welcome.
Go.
Berniac in the building.
Berniac. The house
we
of
love
Berniac.
This tradition. I hope this continues year after year, where you guys come in person and we do
every
an
year.
episode.
Absolutely. There's no way I'd miss out on this. I'm missing, like, Sarah doesn't even have a car because my car's not working right now. I'm like, I'm taking the car. She's like, where are you going? To the show? And she goes, yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Like, she knows how important this is, so there's no way I was missing it.
Same. My whole family is doing other things. They're like, oh, well, Bernie's not here, so we're gonna go do other stuff.
I love it.
It's awesome.
I love it. Well, this is the first episode of James Gunning for Superman.
Nice.
We're going to have a blast throughout this entire next week, multiple episodes. Keep your eye on the Digging for Kryptonite feed. But this is the pregame show, so let me kick it off by tossing it to DeVoe. What are your viewing plans? When are you going to be seeing the movie?
Well, the 8th, not the 7th, which I thought I'd be standing outside like an idiot. I'm an Amazon Prime member, so I waited. I was hitting refresh, and then it came up. And you couldn't find it through Amazon. It was like a special link. So I had to find it and make sure that it was at school. And I ran into school. I punched in and I was like, bling, and it was already up. So I managed to get 2. And then a friend of mine got on and got the one next to us. And another friend of mine, a cosplayer from Jersey City, she got one next to us. So we're going with like 4. Hunter's going to be away, so he can't go. But yeah, the whole crew's going. I think it's Garden State Plaza we're going to.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm so glad that I asked you this because this triggered something that I wanted to say thank you on the record here.
That's right, yeah.
Like yourself, DeVoe, I will be seeing the movie the night of Tuesday, July 8th through that Amazon Prime early screening. And the day before, I had checked the official, I think it was the official Superman social media account, and someone had asked, what time do the tickets go on sale? And they said 9 a.m. Pacific.
Oh.
i.e. noon Eastern.
And it was not.
So I'm anticipating that. And I wake up, and look, I'm not the earliest to rise and get moving in the morning. So it was a little bit of a delayed start. And as I often do, first thing I open up Facebook and I'm scrolling through, and this guy here saved me because the first thing I saw was the post from DeVoe, got my tickets. And I scrambled. I was so nervous.
He's like running in place like a cartoon to get to his computer.
He's like George Costanza pushing Milo and stuff out of the way.
But I got them. So I'll be going, and fellow Digging for Kryptonite guest Mike San Gregorio, he and I will be meeting up there. And I think we have some other friends from our old comic shop who will be there as well. And then I'm going again Friday, the 11th in the morning with my wife to our local Alamo Draft House. So I'll see it 2 times in that first week because I want to make sure that when I'm on this microphone, spewing my opinions, that at least I've given it its fair shake. Now, what about you, Bernie? When are you going?
And is it done? Is the Amazon Prime thing like kaput? Like all the tickets are gone?
Yeah.
Probably, but do you check? I mean,
when we went on, there was a lot of seats open. Okay. I think they screwed up the time because a bunch of people were waiting for 12. I happened to hit refresh, and it's like, how many tickets? I'm like, all right. And then that's when I posted, and you're like, dude, thank God you posted.
Well, and we were thinking about doing it because Tuesday, that day, we drive 7 hours or so out to like Ohio-ish. So I was trying to figure out like, okay, what theater would we stop at if we like stayed overnight? So we just chose not to do it. So I'm going with listener Jared Kilborn, who is always commenting and listening to the show. Him and my youngest Lana, rightfully named, we're going at 7:30 Thursday. And then me and Lana are going again Friday morning at 11 a.m.
I think I'm going twice too because I'm bringing Hunter. And now everyone's jumped. Did you guys see the buckets that they're offering?
Yes.
AMC and Cinema and Regal, they are crushing this thing.
Yeah.
As a collector, I'm in trouble. Yeah. I'm getting the 2-foot Galactus one that's $90. Have you seen this monster? It's this big.
It fits
this much popcorn, but no one gets them for popcorn anymore, so it doesn't matter. There's 3. There's one that looks like a newspaper.
That's the one that I like.
That's the one I want.
Bowl. Isn't there a dog bowl?
The
crypto
dog bowl,
bowl?
I think is Regal. Yeah.
Oh, that's Regal. Oh, I'm gonna go just for that again.
And then one has I don't know. It's got something else, but they're all now we go in tours. We go to Regal. We stop and get one. We get this one. We get that. Dude, that's amazing. It's a sickness, man. There's nothing I can do about it.
There's gonna be like a yard sale 5 years from now that's just all DeVoe's movie buckets.
Yeah. But please do it after I'm dead, not when I'm still alive.
No, I got to say though, that's one of the things that I do struggle with a little bit because I've become very loyal to Alamo Draft House. And
they don't do anything, do they?
We don't have those.
I honestly don't know. I don't know about the popcorn buckets, but through this Amazon Prime thing, it's at AMC theaters.
Yeah.
And AMC is fine. Yeah. I went to see that super.
Says that like he's above it. AMC's fine.
It's okay. It does the job.
I've gotten very used to the Alamo experience, but I went to AMC for the Superman, the Christopher Reeve documentary. And so that was a little bit of a test run. The only thing though, I love my popcorn and that Alamo popcorn.
Yeah.
My number one. It's my number one. And you get unlimited refills. They bring it to you. It's a whole thing. Now you mentioned the popcorn bucket. So I'm still debating when I'm at the AMC, if I can nab that newsstand one, that would be tempting. But beyond that,
I'll grab you one.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Merch.
Look at that guy.
merch.
I already have some.
What do you have so far, Bernie?
Now it's so funny because I saw all of this and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I can't do all this. I saw like the 4-pack of figures already. Yep. I saw that I think it was in Walmart maybe. But I haven't purchased anything yet. But for my birthday, my mom comes through. She gave me the 12-inch Superman figure.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then she gave me the flying Krypto. Have you seen this thing yet?
Oh, it like levitates,
it's like
right?
a little drone that's got a sensor under him so like you can like just, it looks like he's just flying around.
Mom
comes through.
Mama G coming through.
It's crazy awesome.
Nice.
And again, I'm like, I turned 49. I opened up a Krypto drone for my birthday. I was so excited.
And it's still the best thing ever.
It's the best thing ever.
That keeps you young. I really feel like that's a beautiful thing. What about
she
you?
gets me.
Well, I know because you messaged us and I was like, whoa.
Listen,
oh, God.
Now it's time to me to get highbrow. I don't get small fit. I just don't. I like all my stuff to be relatively the same size. So I do a lot of 1/6 scale stuff, which is just a massive hole in my wallet. Anyone who collects Hot Toys or Prime, they know how bad it is. And statues. I can't do small stuff because it gets lost. Not that I don't like it. It's just, there's no place for it. They just put out the Dave and Corning Sweat Superman from Hot Toys. And it's Hot Toy. It's incredible.
It's beautiful.
It's incredible. And the back of the head opens up so you can move the eyes.
What?
So wherever you want to point them, you can. It comes with a Krypto that is like, it's not levitating or anything, but it's on a stand and it comes with
awesome.
A small version of like the Fortress of Solitude. Hot Toys gets weird. Sometimes they will, like there's 89 different Iron Man armors and they keep making them. But for Thunderbolts, they only put out Yelena. That was it. So sometimes they put out everything and sometimes they put out very little. Are we going to get, the Engineer? Probably not, but we will get the Superman and we'll probably get 2 different versions because that's what they do. So I immediately ordered that. I hope my wife's not listening because I told her I wasn't going to. But how can you not though? That thing is incredible. That thing's incredible. So there's that. I got this shirt. I got a hat. And I even posted I never owned Superman merch ever. Ever. Because, it just wasn't my thing. Now I'm like, I can't wait to I got Hunter a Superman hat. We went to Hershey Park. He rocked that thing the entire time, man. Like we had a really good time. But I'm a sucker for popcorn buckets, definitely statues. If they put out, because I have the rescue suit Superman in 1/3 statue. Again, I haven't opened it because I have no place to put it. But if they do a statue of Dana Corning, I might get that too. So I'm a sucker for the big stuff, man.
I have, okay, this is going to sound dumb. I don't know if we've talked about this yet. I'm not fully bought in on the symbol yet.
All right, well, hold that thought because we'll circle back to that.
We're on merch, Bernie.
Well, that affects my merch purchase.
This is the merch section of the discussion. No, that's cool. So
I've seen everything. I've seen sneakers.
Yeah.
I've seen, they are now, I don't know if it's all licensed, but they're coming out with everything. They're really pushing this thing. Like at least way more than I remember Man of Steel being pushed.
And the theaters too. Like you see the stand-ups in there.
Did you see the flying Superman in England?
That was incredible.
Out of control.
Why can't we? Listen, man. Like, what? We're here. Why don't we get us flying Superman somewhere? But my friend Howie took a picture and
so cool.
He's going to send it to me. Yeah.
I know if anyone didn't see, look it up. But they hung this giant Superman statue from the Shard building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
So it just looks like he is levitating there. It's really incredible.
And all we did was light up the Empire State Building. Whatever. We're corny.
No, they're going all out on the merch front. So Bernie, behind you, I have the first few pops from the new movie. I got the Superman, Lois, and Lex.
I haven't noticed that.
And Krypto is on his way. I've not gone into the Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl, the other ones. I'm just sticking with the core for now. Got a couple of shirts, got the hat. All right, Bernie, I've been dying to ask you, and I purposely haven't messaged you to ask because when you were on and we talked about the first teaser trailer that was posted, you were like, that's it. I'm not watching anymore.
That's right. You were like, no.
And when the full trailer came, I tapped DeVoe for that because I'm like, Bernie's out. Like, not that you were my second choice, but just
he'd be my first choice too.
I had started down that road with Bernie. So when he was like, no, I'm not watching anymore, I'm like, all right, DeVoe, you're in. So have you held true to that?
Legit.
Are you serious?
I have not watched. Even when the commercial comes on, I won't look. I won't watch.
Do you like run out of the room?
I literally
put your head under a pillow?
change channel. I walk out. Yeah, I don't. I have seen.
He's got an escape plan.
I have only seen the teaser.
So you didn't see the full trailer, the final trailer, or any of these
little
clips? I
don't want to talk about
our
wish list for it.
No, it's all good. It's good.
I feel terrible, because our wish list is going to be based on. No, that's the show, everybody. Thanks.
No, honestly, because I know enough annoying people in my life have said like, are you seriously not watching?
But seeing
Have you
it was the thing.
Seeing it, yeah.
Hearing about it's fun.
A few people have said like, oh, Lex looks like that. It's really going to be good. Like, but again, I'm good. I wanted to go in as like clean as a whistle. And when I see a certain image, I want that to be the first time I see it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I will say it's funny because for a while, like we were starved for information about this, right? Like anything that we could learn about it, we wanted it. I'm at the point now where it's such a media blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I'm on social media scrolling, there's some new clip or interview.
I just saw a new one yesterday. When because people are being shitty already.
Yep.
They're like, this is when Henry Cavill gets mad and he grabs Zod and he's punching him. He's, don't touch my mother. And then it's like, and this is how the new suit, and he throws the table and he's like, where's my dog? I'm like, you guys truly are just never happy about it.
No, they're not going to be happy.
But they showed that. I'm like, why? I don't need to see,
Right.
like, stop. Because now I'm with Bernie. Stop. We're good. We got everything that we need.
Yes. And I'm at the point where I'm not watching anymore.
Right.
And if you had told me a few months ago, like you'll get to a point where you're going to skip over this stuff, I'd be like, but it's just so much. And I've seen enough. I have a good sense of what this movie is. I don't need any more. However, I do want to say this before we get too deep into it. Even though now I've seen enough, I'm actually glad that for the most part, we've seen as much as we have, because there are a couple of things where the promotional materials have allowed me to acclimate to an aspect of the movie that were it not for that, it might throw me a little bit in the movie. I mean, something really, really big picture, but the notion of juxtaposing Superman's brand of heroism with another different team, like the Elite or the Authority, I'm there for that, right?
Yeah.
Action 775, all that good stuff. Would I have picked the specific team of Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific? No.
It's very interesting.
But that's why we've seen enough with them now where it's like, okay, I'm acclimated to that. So I'm not going in and I'm like, why is it these characters? Like, no, I'm good. So I'm actually grateful for it in that sense. I think it's got me prepped for the movie in a good way.
Well, and I guess maybe we're going to find this out. I just wonder if we will find out why those are the selections.
So we talked about it. I think Mr. Terrific is in it to watch Maxwell Lord because he just seems too smart to be outfooled by Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
Guy Gardner could just be stationed there because it seems like he's old, he's grizzled, he's out of shape. He's giving people the finger with the like, I just think he's there because he has to be. Like, I can't imagine him working for anybody. Like, it's a weird person to pick to collect a paycheck for Maxwell Lord. So I think there's something else. I don't think they genuinely work for him in as much as they all have a reason to.
Again, I have no idea. Like, I didn't know that Maxwell Lord is even a thing.
I didn't even find the only reason
don't forget, he wasn't in the teaser. I didn't find that out.
Peacemaker. That's what did it for me. Not even the movie trailer. The Peacemaker. They're all lined up and they're doing like a fake interview with Peacemaker. And they're like, "Why do you want to join?" And they're all cursing because it's a Gunn TV show, so they're all cursing. That's the only reason I found. I knew he was in it. I didn't know what part he played until I saw them all doing an interview with Peacemaker.
Oh, okay.
Well, but you knew Sean Gunn was going to be someone in this movie, even if you didn't know Maxwell Lord.
And
you knew he was
I know,
be in it.
again, like, I know this sounds like so weird, but like, I have not gone on the IMDb page for the movie.
I don't do that either.
I have not looked, because you could easily kind of like scroll through the cast and get an idea of like, oh, they're going to also include. But I haven't done any of that.
So I want to ask you guys kind of what your vibe is at the moment, but I actually think a lot of our patron questions are going to point to that. So let's get into some of these questions here because we got some nice submissions here. So this one is from our pal Martin Gray in the UK. Martin's going to be joining me very soon to deliver justice for Pete Ross. So stay tuned. Nice. So Martin says, here's a little question. What's your ideal length for a superhero film? I think very few movies generally need to be more than 90 minutes, 2 hours tops. Superhero films are often madly long and none the better for it. And on that note, one of the things that we have learned is the official runtime.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, including credits, it's 2 hours and 9 minutes.
That seems short.
So
all the stuff that's going on. All right, so my concern is still, and as always been, there's a lot going on. Yeah. There's possibly 4 antagonists. There's him trying to get along with Maxwell Lord's team. It just seems like there's a lot happening. So that's a concern for me. I think a superhero movie of this caliber, look, I love the Ant-Man flick. I actually really liked Aquaman 2. I don't need those movies to be 2 hours and change. Right. A flagship thing, Avengers Doomsday, Superman, Supergirl, just because I want more Lobo. Those have to be between 2 and 2.5 hours, I think. I think if you start to go before, especially with the scope of what you got going on, I don't think you're going to cover everything properly. So 2 hours, maybe not 2.5, but definitely in between 2 hours, 15, 2:20.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah.
Especially for this one.
I have thoughts about the runtime, but go ahead.
No, go for it.
So like, I would love it to be 220, something like that, like you're talking about. But no offense to anybody who loves these, I have watched Snyder things or other movies that I'm like, the pacing kills it for me. So like, would I rather have a 220 that was slow paced and sometimes, or a 210 that it moves and there's beats and there's a good like ebb and flow? And the fact that we're not doing an origin story lets us start and go. Like it's not, let's learn all about Superman.
I said that.
Move.
I said that. Like I don't need to see him ever fall in a capsule.
Nope.
And I don't need to see Batman's parents get shot in an alley ever again.
Yes.
Ever. Unless it's in like the opening credits and it's snip, 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 done.
It's a
no one else
flashback,
needs
done.
it. Nobody on this planet right now, I don't think, needs to know that Superman crashed down from Kryptonite.
And if they want to, they can go check it out.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I am still expecting, and honestly would like to see, but I'm expecting it because All-Star is seemingly such a big influence on Gunn, but Doomed Planet, Desperate Scientists, Last Hope, Kindly Call. Like, I would love to see that. And if they did that in the credits or like a super quick flashback sort of thing, I'd be surprised if they didn't.
I don't know.
But I don't think you need more than that, especially for this. And I know we're not getting more.
Yeah. And I know it's not Gunn, but if you do it, and it's not done this way just because the two styles are different, if you do it like Guy Ritchie opening, where like there's action and then a stop and an action, I think if you do it that way but do it more like Gunn's, that's all we need. I don't even need to be a part of the runtime, like the runtime of the movie. It could be right in the beginning.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't even need that. I need Clark walking into a coffee shop with the scroller and 20 years ago, this fell into Kansas. Boom, I'm done. That's all I need.
Yeah.
So on that note, apparently, again, Bernie, like I'm reluctant. I don't want to spoil stuff
go
for you,
for it.
but apparently it does open with a Star Wars.
Is there a crawl kind of deal?
Okay. Yeah.
Really?
Which I'm a little bit mixed on. We'll have to see it, and we will, and we'll talk about it. But part of me feels like if you're starting a new cinematic universe here, why do you need this?
No, I think that makes sense though, because he is starting a new universe, but he wants to bring people along for the ride. And I think it's okay. Like for all of us, the 75% of people that are ready for this are going, let's go. And they're going to be the people that a kid for the first time, a friend for the first time. It's like the people that haven't seen any of the Marvel universe and then they show up to see the last Spider-Man because they think Tom Holland's cute. They're like, what have I missed? Yeah. And you can go on YouTube and watch a 20-minute catch-up video that some genius put together. And it's amazing. It saves you from watching 70 hours of movies. But
especially if you just want to go see this one.
Yes.
Like, because I already had people ask me who aren't comic people, like, which one do I need to see? I'm like, none.
Just go.
Right.
No, you don't need,
and
you
that's
don't
why
need
I'm excited.
Anything.
Yes.
You just have to go and see this movie. I am still concerned about the amount of stuff that's going on, though.
I'm actually worried about the cameos.
There's a lot going on.
Yes.
And I know one of the listeners is like, oh, I don't think he got it right, which is fine.
Yeah.
But like I said, the amount that I've seen and what we talked about, I feel like I can piece together basically all of the beats of the movie. Up until when I think the big thing appears in the sky, which looks like something from Brainiac. I think that's the last thing, and he flies away, credits.
And I've seen that picture already.
Yeah. So I'm just concerned that there's a kaiju, there's
clearly
Ultraman, Black Noir, there's the engineer, there's Lex Luthor, there's the new character that they just made, the Hammer of Botswain or whatever it is, which is just a guy that shows up to beat him up. There's just a lot, man. There's a lot. There's there's apparently more crypto in this thing than anything else. It's just a lot for a Superman flick.
But I wonder too, again, if it's paced right, I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy did a lot in a short amount of time. And they was moving.
But we weren't reintroducing anybody. It was just like, this is the team. You've known them through 3 movies already.
I'm kind of curious about too, because we know that Millie Alcock is in it as Supergirl in some way, shape, or form. That's been confirmed.
She looks like
I think it's going to be end credits or something.
That chick who's playing Supergirl looks like Bilquis Everly drew her in real life.
It's like
she's very sharp. Like all her features are very sharp. I'm like, it looks like someone like AI'd a version of like what that, like, you know, the before and now, she looks like she was drawn by Bilquis.
I think we're going to just honestly just get that. That's going to be a mid credits or an end credits. Like she's either coming out of a ship or she shows up or something, but I don't think we're going to get her more than that.
I mean, I guess I'll say for myself on the size of the cast and the runtime, since they're related. I mean, as far as Martin's general question, I don't need a certain runtime in and of itself. It really depends on the movie and what story is being told. Does this feel a little short based on how much we know is going on in it? Yeah, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that there's enough space to serve everything. And yes, the fact that this is not an origin story, and we don't know exactly how much screen time or how much depth we're getting with the Justice Gang, for example.
Right.
For me, as long as the emphasis is on Clark and Lois and Lex, which it seems to be.
Yes.
And as long as there's enough runtime and space to serve them, I'm good with that. And if maybe the Justice Gang, it's a little bit more superficial, but then like you said, DeVoe, like we know we're seeing them in Peacemaker. Like they'll get more play elsewhere. Yeah. I'm okay with that. So I'm going in with an open mind. I won't lie though. When they announced the runtime, just based on what we've seen in recent years, it was surprising. Not in a good or bad way, but it was like, oh, okay, that's it.
Let me ask you guys a question. Are you okay with the first Superman movie, the main antagonist, let's be honest, because he's not fighting Lex. Lex is just part of it. Like, I get it.
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure
I don't
about
know if
that,
we know that yet. Yeah.
Because did you see the figure with him in the green war suit?
Yeah.
Yeah, but now toy companies are doing that because they got pegged a lot for like, why are you putting this out? Like,
it's not even in the movie. Yeah, I hear you.
When Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness came out, they put out a Sleepwalker figure, and people are like, now Sleepwalker's going to be in the movie. They're changing trailers now. Yeah. They're changing figures. So
I don't know.
I don't know if, but like the main fight seems to happen engineered by Lex, but it's the Engineer and Ultraman. That seems to be like, are you guys okay with like that being the freshman attempts even if Lex is pulling the strings behind, is that what or would you rather have seen anybody? I'm not talking about start with Brainiac. I know that's big, but would you have rather seen a different Superman villain as the main one? Or are you okay with like the 5 that he's fighting? Because that's what it seems like.
Well, I think we are going to get another Superman villain. I don't think it's going to be Ultraman. I think whenever that mask comes off,
it's somebody.
I feel like it'll be Bizarro or something to that effect. If it's just full on, and that's its own conversation. Who is under that mask and
it's
what?
Henry Cavill.
Oh God.
No, it's not. There's no way.
I know
he
that's
wouldn't do
been
that.
speculated.
From what I understand, Gunn and Snyder are actually friends. He's not going to do that to him.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the final battle is just Superman versus Ultraman
at City Field, like that's what I thought it was.
How do you feel, Bernie?
I think, oh gosh, I think I'd be okay with not doing a big baddie this first movie out, because again, we're not doing an origin, but we are introducing a lot. Right. And I think it is smart we don't really know how Lex is going to be used yet fully. Like Lex Luthor is the most well-known villain in Superman's Rogue. So like they have to set him up right, in my opinion.
Yeah. So him being,
because they haven't done it in the last, I don't think they've done it correctly or well as far as a setup over the last number of movies.
Yeah. I also think that you can't have him be first because everyone's going to assume that he is. I do think him pulling the strings is cool. Yeah. I also don't know what the hell's going to go on with Maxwell Lord's team either. I don't know. Like, I wonder what the relationship is between that team and Lex Luthor. Because Lex is like, Superman is all I hear. But wouldn't you be also hearing about this girl with hawk wings and this dude with a green ring? Like,
and we know we're getting the Authority.
Yeah.
That's on the slate, gonna happen.
Well, so there was a recent quote by Gunn where he was like, it's not moving as quickly, but it could happen. I think it's a little bit more of a question mark as far as whether or not that Authority movie is happening, but the Engineer is in this. I think it's still at least
I would
on
be
the table.
very, very surprised if it didn't happen. I think he's smart too, also trying to keep some stuff close to the chest. We know that we're getting this. We know we have Peacemaker. We know we're getting Lanterns. That's wrapping up on filming just now.
And that's basically like a buddy cop show, right?
Well, it's Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
That Jon Stewart is perfect. I saw him in
this Rebel Ridge movie.
Rebel Ridge, and I was like, that's Jon Stewart.
Yeah,
man.
It was incredible.
He was part of the Sagittari on Krypton.
That's right.
Was he
was
really?
so good at Krypton. Yeah.
He was so good.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see on that front. I mean, I guess I feel like if Lex is the ultimate opponent in this, I'm good regardless of who he's physically duking it out with.
Right.
I do still think that we're in for some twist with Ultraman. It's the sort of thing for him to be masked, right? He's masked for a reason. And so when that mask comes off, short of Henry Cavill or some other stunt casting where we're like, oh, well, to me, it seems like the only reason why he would be masked like that is if he's a copy of Superman. So it's David Cornsweet.
We also don't know if it's a clone. We also don't know if they're going to go the route where Lex has created a clone and not Bizarro, but like Superboy.
And again, like I've also, and I know people have heard me say this, and I keep saying it because it still bothers me. Why, when in The Boys comic and show, well, so the show twisted it. In the comic, Black Noir is a Homelander clone that went wrong.
Yeah.
Dressed exactly like Ultraman. Very, very, very few. Now, in the show, I'm like, so he's wearing Black Noir's outfit and it could possibly be a clone of Superman? Did no one else read the comic, The Boys? Like, I know people are enjoying the show because the show is totally outlandish, which is what the book is. You couldn't have made him look any different. Like, the fact that it's that costume really bugs me because who else is it going to be under there? We already know that Ultraman is already an evil Superman from another Earth.
Right.
So anybody with that background knowledge is either going to say, I know who that is, or they're going to call him Ultraman. It's going to be a twist, and it's going to be Hank Henshaw, right? Like a half cyborg version, which would then be cool.
Right.
But it can't just be a Superman clone because then it's just Black Noir from the comic.
Well,
it's down to the costume.
Let me ask this question too. I know we got a ton to talk about. Have you heard anything does James Gunn give any weight to the Flash movie? Or is that?
Well, other than it's one of his favorite superhero movies of all time.
But what I'm thinking too is if he does, or that movie basically opened the floodgates for multiverse. So theoretically, if we did go the Ultraman or that route, that would make total sense.
Well, hey, we might get our answer when that opening crawl starts. And it's like, recently, Barry Allen changed the timeline, creating this new world.
Yes.
And then we'll know. I would imagine that he would be looking to distance the DCU from the Flash movie as much as humanly possible.
I would hope so.
From anything that he did not have his hands on. We already predicted 2 years ago that he was going to keep his toys and throw out everybody else. Which is strange because a lot of the stuff was these two, I want to go younger. I want to go younger. You have Nathan Fillion, who's in all your movies. Homeboy's what, 50 something?
Yeah.
So I don't know what Nathan you mean, but no, he's awesome. Yeah. And I like the look. The look is, everyone's laughing at it. And I'm like, but that's comic book accuracy. But he only kept his stuff, presuming we're going to see Harley Quinn again. But like, then, so where do you draw the line? Because they existed. Yeah. Are you saying that they didn't? Because now you have to pull, because you wanted to keep your people, you got to pull that all in. Because Superman appeared, or the suit of Superman appeared in Peacemaker, and so did Aquaman?
Yes. Well, he's addressed this. Apparently, I think there's something coming up in Peacemaker that's going to account for this. Yeah. So, look.
You mean retcon it?
We'll stay tuned for that. The last thing I'll say kind of on the Ultraman front. Yeah, so my theory prediction, I have to assume it's David Cornsweet under that mask. Now, whether it's an alternate from a different reality or a clone that Lex has created or a cyborg a la Hank Henshaw, that I don't know what form it'll take. But I do imagine he'll ultimately be fighting a version of himself. And if it ended up being kind of like a full-on Bizarro, I'd be there for that.
Yeah. Now,
except for the backwards talk, which I know.
Well, I've come around on that. I've come around on that. You just can't think about it too long.
I haven't.
But like, even having it be the Eradicator, like another Kryptonian, I'm down with it. Just don't make it a clone. Like, just don't.
Or Zod.
But just don't, because of what I think comic book fans, not just DC fans, but comic book fans, especially ones who have read The Boys, are expecting. Don't do that.
Right.
Just don't. Because if you were going to do that, don't put a mask on him at all.
Well,
just make him a gray version, and just like, don't put. If you're not going to have a reveal that no one's expecting, everyone's expecting it to be David Cornsweet CGI,
right?
Or whatever.
I do think with Gunn bringing in all of the Superman writers, he's made it very clear he's trying to stay also connected to the, not necessarily even the current, but he's wanting to make this where it's easy to connect with the DC comics that are already in existence, right? Zod already exists right now in the current continuity. So
he's depowered now, isn't he?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
All right, some more questions here from Brian Dempsey. He says,
Dude, that was one question.
Yeah, that was we got to.
We're in trouble.
Sorry,
we're in trouble, everybody.
Okay, so Brian says, what is one thing, no matter how minor, about this movie that was spoiled for you by a headline? And if you're feeling feisty, what website dropped the spoiler? So I'm going to take this first, and I'll toss it to you guys. I'm going to tread delicately here because I don't want to spoil for Bernie and for audience members who might have missed this. But there is a pair of castings that I really wish had been a surprise. We know Jonathan and Martha are in the film. It probably wouldn't shock us that his other set of parents are represented
somewhere.
But the casting came out, and I forget the first place that I saw it, but I was just like, really?
Oh,
this would have been cool to see.
I feel like I did see that
in the actual movie.
So this is news to me.
The other thing, I really do want to talk about this. I think you'll be okay with this spoiler. DeVoe, you know where I'm going if I mention the glasses?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I could mute the headphones.
No, go for it. No, go for it.
Hypno glasses.
What does that mean?
Well, apparently James Gunn had a real issue with how do people not put it together that Clark and Superman are one and the same. And then our great comic book buddy, Tom King, was like, hey, in the comics once he had hypno glasses and James Gunn just loved this idea. And this was spoiled in an interview with, if I'm not mistaken, comicbook.com. And this came across my feed. And the interviewer was like, I got to tell you, James, I love the hypno glasses. And James, of
course he's going to say that.
And James was so thrilled. He was like, it's canon in the comics, which I say, now I'm getting fired up here. I might drop that F-bomb.
Yeah.
Do it.
Here's the thing. Because I've done it. You dig through those pre-crisis comics, damn near anything is quote unquote canon. This is something that's been ignored, purposely forgotten for decades. In fact, Mike Carlin on social media, he chimed in and he was like, it was forgotten for a reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's honestly one of the things, and I don't want to say the biggest thing that bothers me, because hopefully it's just kind of like a passing reference.
Be a thing.
But it's like, what are you doing? I just feel like he created a problem that didn't exist and then fixed it badly. Like, I really don't like this.
I don't think
just
it
the change of the hair and the voice thing was good enough. Besides, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter if it's it looks we have to suspend. It's been going on for 80 years. You suspend your disbelief. We get it. Everyone's going to look at or in that one comic, he's like, I get that all the time. Done. That's story done. That's it. That's all you need.
So American Alien. So you joined me for American Alien a while back. That to me was one of the best ways of handling it. Where
do people say you look like Superman? All the time.
Kenny and Pete visit him, and they're like, "Did they ever see you without your glasses?" And he's like, "Yeah." And like, what do they say? They're like, "Oh, you look just like Superman."
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Plus, we've had so many explanations over the years for how he also changes the way he stands. And he alters his voice. And by the way,
he shrinks his spine, like Morrison said.
But we see, even in just these little previews and stuff, we see David Cornsweet doing that. Yes. And the last thing I'll say on this, and I'll get on, but clearly the Donner movies, the first one in particular, is a real touchstone for James Gunn.
Yeah.
Is there not a better demonstration of how someone can change themselves? You look at Christopher Reeve and that scene in Lois's apartment. It's a masterclass. You see how he's able to shift in all of those different ways. So it's like, I feel like we can more than suspend our disbelief. And it just really bugs me that we had to insert this hypno glasses explanation, whether it's just a line or whatever. No, it is. He's said it.
Look, so, all right. Perfect example. There's an actual Facebook page called People Who Look Like Adam Sandler. Okay. And they're people from all over the place. Yeah. I imagine people go up to him all the time. Yes. Hey, man, you look like I know I do. Why can't Clark be doing that too? Yes. So like the chick Katy Perry and the other one, the actor Zoe Deschanel.
Yes. Yep.
They look almost exactly alike. Why can't the reason be like from American? You know what? I get that all the time. But I'm a reporter, so it's definitely not me. Just let it go. Like people act like I would know. When people were wearing masks, I didn't even know who people were during COVID. Yeah. Like it's fine. Like let it go. Like
well,
don't lean into that too hard.
two real last quick things on this too is one, my oldest daughter looks completely different with or without glasses.
Yeah.
What she wears and even how like you don't always connect the dots.
Well,
but the other thing is Brandon Routh was mistaken for Christopher Reeve constantly growing up.
Yes.
Like they said, you look so much like Christopher Reeve from Superman. He goes, yeah, I know. I get that a lot. What the heck, guys?
Also, you're in education. Have you been to a prom?
Yeah.
Not when the boys, the boys hook it up. When my young ladies I'm like, I don't even know
who you are.
You don't even know who they are. Just let it, it is conceivable that two people just happen to look like each other.
I have students that look like students I taught 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, guess what? It's not them.
It happens. Like, look, if there was a superhero flying around right now that was bald and a beard, and I was sitting here, you guys be like, I know you definitely ain't him. Like, because believability is this guy writes. People see him all the time. They see him all the time. And when Superman appears, he goes and comes back like that. Let it go, man. We don't need hypno glasses.
The question has always been, people should automatically go, why would Superman be a reporter?
Right.
Well, right. That's the thing.
That's the point. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, why would people even assume that he has a secret identity? It's funny because we go through the George Reeves show on the other podcast, and it's so funny all the time where people are like, who is Superman really? It's like, why do you think he even has a secret identity? But yeah, I mean, I just feel like there have been enough accountings for why people don't put this together that this is not a problem. And I don't want to make too big a deal out of this or be like, oh, it's fatal to the movie. But it is a little troubling to me that he perceives this to be a problem when I really don't feel that it is. And when you have your actor already going to all of these lengths. And the last thing, I know I said the last thing, but this really is that it's hardest to accept, I think, in the case of Lois, because she has a lot of contact with both identities, but she knows his secret in this.
Right.
So that problem is solved. So what are we worried about? Like why Jimmy doesn't know? It's like, it's fine.
You just brought up something so simple. And because we always try to overcomplicate, I never thought about this before. We are always like, secret identity. That's such an easy way to, why would he need one?
Right.
The guy can lift the equivalent of like 4 planets, apparently, right? Why does he, like, oh, he must be walking around somewhere. Why? Yeah. He flies everywhere. Why does he need to act like one of us? That should, oh yeah, you look like him, but why does that guy need to work?
Right.
That should be what everyone, it's such a simple point, but sometimes the simple stuff covers everything. Like, hey, you look like Superman. I know. I get that all the time. That's it, man. Case closed.
Yeah.
Done. But maybe, I mean, who knows how long they're going to really deal with it or what it creates. You're worried about what it creates, right?
No, it's not even that. It's really just that in and of itself. And
it's just stupid overcomplication.
Even if it is just a throwaway line, because there's a moment in one of the clips where Lois says, like, what if people put it together? Like, you're always getting these interviews. And he goes, well, the glasses. The next line may very well be, there's a hypnotic capability to it. Yeah. Even that.
But why?
I just don't like it.
Like, all right. Did Jervis Tech call him up and be like, I can get you some glasses, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's some Kryptonite. I don't know. But all right, on I guess a more positive note here. So Logan says, I would love to know who your favorite and least favorite castings are going in.
Oh.
While you guys think, because I've had these questions for a little while longer.
Least and best or just least favorite?
Yeah, no, favorite and least favorite. Right. I'll be honest, I honestly don't have a least favorite casting.
I don't think I've seen enough to even have that feeling.
Bernie's barely seen anything.
Yeah. Is there a movie coming out?
Sean Gunn, not because he isn't talented. I'm just sick of, like, I know you got your core group, but he doesn't have to be in everything. I understand he's your brother and you want to hook him up.
Yeah.
But, like, there's other people out there that can play these parts. It doesn't have to be the same people all the time.
He'd be a better Plastic Man anyway.
Yeah, way better. I think my favorite one, and honestly, because I'm such an Amy Adams fan, I don't know, like, I like Lois. She's awesome. She's hard edged. She's great. But for some reason, I love the Amy Adams version.
You're so funny. I go the opposite.
Really?
I can't stand Amy Adams as Lois Lane, but I can't wait to see Rachel.
My favorite one is Lex, just because I love that dude.
Yeah.
He was in Warm Bodies. He was in
Fury Road.
He was in the Dracula movie with Nick Cage, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, why isn't this guy in more stuff? And the fact that I've always been looking for a dope Lex Luthor and it was him, I was like, I'm in.
That's cool.
I mean, I love that dude. And I'm not sure about the guy. Like, I love Mr. Terrific. I love Michael Holt as a character. I just don't know that dude.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a good casting or not. Like, I don't know.
Is Rachel Brosnahan your top pick for your favorite?
I would go. Yeah, I think. I'll stick by that.
All right. I feel like it's a toss-up because Rachel Brosnahan is really up there, but Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy. I feel like this is going to be a top-tier Jimmy Olsen.
He seems like he is. And Kat looks like, dude, the fact that she's like taking selfies when like...
No, that's Miss Tessmacher. We were both wrong.
No kidding, really?
That's not
when we did
Kat?
that trailer, I'm almost positive when we did that trailer discussion, that was Eve, not Kat.
I thought that's Kat.
So, look...
I love that for her, though.
Yeah. We don't have the full picture of this yet, right? But it really seems from what we do know that Lex is engaging in essentially like a public smear campaign against Superman. He's going on the news and he's talking about him. And even in that clip where Superman bursts into Lex's office, he has one of his assistants filming. Yeah. So I think that's kind of part and parcel with all of that. So I had the same instinct as you. I was like, oh yeah, Cat Grant. But no, I think we're off on that one. But
damn it.
But I honestly think that this Jimmy... Because we loved him in Santa Clarita Diet. He was so funny.
I've never seen that show.
I've never seen the show.
And there's one, like I said, trying not to see all this stuff, but I've still been watching some clips here and there. And there's one bit where like there were these two attractive young female workers in the Daily Planet who were like making eyes at Jimmy. And I just love the idea that like he's going to be this like secret ladies man or something like that. Like just something to kind of juice him up a little bit. I like it. So those two
he's
are
like
the ones
the
I'm most
dopey
excited
kid
for.
that chicks just happen to like because he's like that guy.
Kind of dopey.
Like he's all
sweet.
personality. Yeah, he's all personality and is funny.
Yeah.
And that
Now
I like the fact that he's dating Silver Banshee right now.
In the comics. That's
really
great.
cool.
So excited to talk about that. Yeah. Now the worst for me personally is Nathan Fillion.
Really?
Oh.
Because in my brain, even at his current age, he should have been Hal Jordan, in my opinion.
Really?
Because I think him with gray and his build,
his hair color, his hairstyle is very Hal Jordan-esque outside
already.
of the bowl cut.
Yeah. And if you gray the sides, and I've watched him on The Rookie forever, he's perfect for that. What the time frame they're putting him in, and I love Kyle Chandler. Like, dude,
he looks really
Friday
good.
Night Lights.
Yeah.
Renee, my wife, is like gonna watch Lanterns just because he's in the dang show. But yet, for me, I'm gonna like seeing Nathan. I just think he's badly used. I think we could have waited.
I don't think he's gonna stick around.
I don't know.
I think that he'll fly up. Like I think this is the movie that he's gonna be in, and he'll fly out. Like I don't think he's gonna get killed, but he's gonna disappear and show up at some. I don't even think there's gonna be a lot of them in the movie.
Oh,
I think they're
that's
fighting that kaiju
about.
thing, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm doing important stuff," which could be funny, and it also could be that Gunn humor that we're talking about.
Us.
Yeah, I think that a lot of what we saw with them happens with the kaiju, and then you got it, it's in there.
No.
Oh, curious about that book.
Yeah. I was just getting ready for the next bit, but no, on the note of the Justice Gang, this other superhero team that's being led by Maxwell Lord, Shades of Justice League International.
Right.
Yeah. By the way, we just covered on the Patreon show. I was not the biggest fan of that era of comics. I know people love it. I wasn't really one of them, but I wanted to get a little bit of exposure to that. But DeVoe, I think you're bringing this up earlier about why Lex is so fixated on Superman when there's all these other superheroes floating around. So there is a clip where he does draw a distinction between the metahumans, a la Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, and Superman. So I think there's something about Superman being otherworldly and being the focal point of the world's conversation, as he says. Like he looms so large that I think Lex does draw that distinction. But one of the things I did by way of prep was I read the Superman Welcome to Metropolis Junior prequel novel, which was a very brisk read. It's for young readers, right? Yeah. So it went by quickly, but it was enjoyable. Our pal Zach from Always Hold On to Smallville, he's doing a full-on episode about it, so check that out. But I just wanted to mention a couple of things. One, and this was not my favorite thing. I enjoyed the book, but there was one thing, and I don't know if this is true canon to the movie. Like I don't know if everything reflected here is going to be part of it. But this is the prequel, so it shows before. And in this iteration, the Justice Gang is already operating before Superman arrives.
That's what I thought was happening anyway.
Same.
That they were just around.
Yeah, I thought they were around already.
I didn't necessarily think so because they've talked about how the movie is like 2 or 3 years into Superman's journey. So it was kind of nebulous as far as who showed up first. I don't love the idea that you've already had the Justice Gang operating before Superman shows up. Well, but that's one of the things we see here. The other thing is he shows up to Metropolis with his costume already and with his name when he first introduces himself. He's like, I'm weird. Superman. It's like, what? This is Lois's thing to name him. So I wasn't a huge fan of that.
Yeah. That goes back to the Snyder stuff. They never called each other. It was Bruce. Right. It was Arthur.
Right.
Like Superman was what they used. Like she said, oh, well, you know what people are calling you. And then it whistles over it and she says it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. But I do like the fact that Lex is like, I don't like him. Well, what about these guys? This guy's a human who's a space cop. This girl's an entity from, another, or
well, I don't know if they're
the
doing.
No, are they doing Thanagar? Are they
I
doing?
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're doing Thanagar.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Or what.
Is it Shire Hall or is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh,
So we're gonna find that out too.
well, it's got to be nth metal. Well, at least they're going to use. I mean, they can find nth metal. I'm sure. Oh,
JSA was around before Superman, like theoretically.
Yeah, that I'm okay with.
Yeah.
The idea that there were these mystery men decades ago that have kind of faded from the public
movie
consciousness.
I wanted first,
but
I'm not going to lie,
JSA
man. I
would
know
be amazing.
I'm you make it look like a Watchmen.
Yeah.
The one that started it all. You give us, your Alan Scotts, your Jay Garrett. That would have been so, because you could do it like, I'm here. Like you can make it hokey.
I don't think that's out of the question.
That would be so great to start with, though. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I got you. The other couple things I just wanted to mention about this, I feel like, assuming this tracks with the movie itself, I feel like the voices felt true in terms of the interactions among the Daily Planet staff and seeing Clark's earnestness sort of chip away at Lois's harsher exterior. I thought that stuff was great. And I really liked the way Lex came off here because darker and sinister behind closed doors, but then is able to turn on the charm when he's in public. But I feel like, look, you guys know I am a fan of the Jesse Eisenberg iteration, but I feel like even there, he was always off-putting in one way or another. Whereas here, I feel like we're going to see more of that kind of charm offensive on one end and then the darker internal life. And then there's one line in here where Superman makes reference to being from a place you've never heard of. But that's as much as we get here as far as the Krypton piece. Like there's nothing about the fortress or crypto or robots or anything like that. And there's one brief chapter where he returns to Smallville to check in with Jonathan and Martha. So that's very fleeting. It's very much beginning days in Metropolis. Metallo is the primary adversary, orchestrated by Lex.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was a solid read. Like I said, I don't know how much it really shared. I don't know how much it really taught me about what the movie is going to be, but there were a couple of bits. I just wanted to mention that.
I'd like to also just point out really quickly that while I have come around and love Man of Steel, Anthony and I are friends and can sit in the same room and not agree.
No, you guys aren't allowed to do that.
We can't. We actually. I don't like 75% of Zack Snyder. Yet I can actually be okay in the same room. So world, take heed.
The more you know.
Yeah, it's all right.
Look,
all right.
Guess what? If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Okay.
It's very easy.
All right, so Jan had a bunch of questions. I'm going to cherry pick here, but he said, what are your big fears and or reservations going? I think we've been hitting on this already, but what are your big fears and or reservations going in? Have any been somewhat restrained by the marketing? Have any new fears popped up because of the marketing? And then I want to jump to an observation he had because it actually kind of ties in with my fears.
Okay.
He says, it's very interesting to me that Gunn keeps talking up All-Star as an influence when I am seeing much more of Morrison's action run in the marketing, particularly in terms of how Clark Superman's dialogue is written. Am I crazy? I don't think he is.
No.
I don't think he's crazy.
Well, look, when Gunn first took over, he took like the picture of all them planning from Kingdom Come, and he's like, I love All-Star. Like, what was he supposed to say? Like, I'm not going to do any of that. Of course, like, listen, everyone thought that the Snyderverse was so removed from the comics.
Right.
It was too dark. It was too this. It was too that. The smart move is being like, I'm taking everything right from the comics and you guys are going to love this. And look at all the pictures I post. Is it influenced by All-Star? Yeah, but so is like The Conjuring is also based on a true story, which is 20% true. So I think it was very smart of him to constantly post all of these pictures and your Alex Ross stuff and this and that. Of course he's going to do that. Do I think that it's loyal to anything? No. You can tell just by what you're seeing.
I actually don't really ever want to see a movie that is frame by frame the exact as a comic book. I don't think that's healthy, and I think that
they
actually
kind of did it with Sin City.
Yeah,
already.
and I personally think it insults the original work. But what I have really liked is when you say, my influences have been All-Star, Birthright, this and that. I see it as tone and not...
Yes.
I see it as tone.
Not content.
I see it as coloring. I see it as style or humor possibly, or maybe direction that it might move. But I don't want to see Birthright necessarily in a 2 hour and 10 minute version because it won't work.
Yeah.
It'll work in a Max series, maybe. But I don't know.
Yeah.
And that was our problem with a lot of the animated stuff,
Yes.
like Injustice.
70
Hey, the
minutes.
first 15 minutes was great. The rest of it was just whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
I agree. And especially when it comes to All-Star, I feel like, I mean, I agree with you generally. I think in terms of what he's pulling, I think maybe more of that tone. But with All-Star specifically, I think it's the trappings of All-Star.
Yeah.
Like All-Star was this, as we've talked about so many times, this love letter to the entire Superman mythology.
Yes.
So I think that's why you're seeing here the fortress and Crypto and the robots, but also the farm and the camps and the Daily Planet. And so I think in that respect, it's drawing from All-Star, the trappings of it. But
not plot necessarily.
No, but what I really, when Jan said that bit about the New 52, perhaps being more of an inspiration when it comes to the characterization and the dialogue, something clicked for me, because going back to Jan's other question about what our fears are. So at this point in time, overall, I'm optimistic. I'm excited. I'm so excited to watch the movie and to talk about it. I'm not really that concerned with how quote unquote busy the movie seems to be, because again, as long as we're focused on our core, I think it'll be fine. I do still think that they've been hiding the ball, less so now, because I think the clips are showing you more of that humor. I do think the initial teaser and the initial trailer we talked about did hide the ball as far as how much of that Gunn humor is going to be there. So that's a little bit of a concern. And I will continue saying this because I don't want to be misconstrued. It's not that, there shouldn't be humor. It's just, I don't want moments that are continually undercut by humor. So that's a little bit of a concern. But then the last thing, other than the freaking hypno glasses, is that we've now seen a lot more of Clark and Superman talking.
Yeah.
And DeVoe, when we talked about the first full trailer, that
God, it was so good.
That interview, it was. And in that moment where he's talking to Lois, he's like, people were going to die. I was like, oh, wow. Like, I wasn't expecting him to get that worked up, but okay, I can appreciate the passion. And then we've continued to see more clips where he's seemingly always yelling. Like there's one where he's like, they've always been wrong about me. I get scared. That's what makes me human. It's my greatest strength. And then, of course, the clip where he bursts into Lex's office and he flips over the desk. Where's the dog? And it's
and let's not forget, he gets hit by the solar orgasmatron and yells at that too.
Yeah, and Ride's in pain. I mean, that's fair enough. I guess we had like kind of that boom, boom, boom of, oh wow, he's yelling a lot in this movie. But to Jan's point, I mean, like the New 52 Superman was a lot more brash. I mean, I do think I wouldn't lump them totally together. I do feel like the New 52 kind of had its own lane on that, but it did sort of help me come to terms a little bit more with this. And look, Superman doesn't have to be overly stoic, so I get if he's more expressive and more articulates more what he's feeling. I know that was a criticism of the previous version, so I understand if they wanted to be more vocal about what's going on. I'm still not entirely sold, but that's where this is another instance where I'm glad I've seen the clips that we've seen, because now I kind of have a good sense of what the characterization is going to be, and I do see potential there.
How old, like, so that guy Nicholas Hoult is his name?
Yeah.
He never looks like he aged past 19. Like, God bless him. I don't even know how old he is. They both look, or at least are made to look, very young. Yeah. Like, so how old, like, do we know, like, how old Clark is? Like, let's just say based on collected continuity, how old is he when he starts working for the planet? Like fresh out, like, what is he, 21, 22?
I mean, it depends on the iteration, but I would say here, I think in this, he's meant to be like in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I said this before when we were talking about it. Maybe, like, look, the dude has Smallville upbringing of like, I'm going to save everybody. Then he goes to the very cynical, although really not put like that. Like, that's more your Gotham. He goes to, he goes to Metropolis where everyone's bumping into him. It's very New York City-esque. I just think that he expected things to go differently. And I'm hoping that his yelling and all of that passion is because he's like, I don't get what people don't get.
Right.
So maybe it's a lot of that. But I do see then over the course of the movie, especially when he gets stepped on, he's like, I'm working on important stuff. I think he's going to start off very upset. Like, why don't people like me? I'm just trying to help everybody. But like we said, like, he's going to depower every nuclear place and everyone's like, yay. Like, that's not going to happen. So he did what I said that couldn't be done, or at least prior. They put this Superman in a world that doesn't care about anybody. Well, and now he's getting the worst part of that, where he's like, yeah, we don't care that you're saving people. You're also breaking rules and laws, and this country doesn't like it, and this country doesn't like it. And I think that if he is in his mid-20s and he's never had to deal with this before, I think he's going to react that way. Come on, man. He got tested by Lois, which, spoiler alert, he got tested by Lois and didn't slow to anger. He was pretty quickly there. because he's like, why are you questioning me? I'm doing right. Yeah, but in a world like now, no one wants you to just do right.
I think that's true. I think factoring in his youth and this world that he's been placed in, and if we are angling for kind of a brasher take on the character, which does have its basis in the Golden Age comics and in the New 52. Yeah, I mean, I think it. And to be clear, I'm not saying like, oh my God, I was so put off by those scenes, but it did strike me. It was one of those things where kind of seeing it in that full trailer, and then again in these subsequent clips, it's just like, oh, okay, like this. It's not just, oh, he got upset in that one scene with Lois. Yeah. Now it's more like, oh, this is more of the characterization. But here's the thing, and you guys know I love the previous version of Superman we got on screen.
No, do you?
But, well, and here's the other funny thing. We've talked about this before too. The fact that a big part of this movie is Superman intervening in this international conflict and being questioned and Lex pulling the strings. We've seen that before. That was BVS. But I think what this movie is doing, and I'm sure it's conscious on Gunn's part, is with the other movie, I feel like the other movies, it was a little bit more abstract, right? And Superman wasn't as vocal and articulate about his internal feelings. And I'm not saying those feelings weren't shown, but there wasn't as much that we were told. And look, even you go to BVS, and in terms of Lex's master plan, you watch that theatrical cut, you don't even know what's going on. Yeah. You watch the ultimate cut and it's clearer. But if you're not really dialed into that movie, I think it can still be a little nebulous about exactly how much he was pulling the strings. Now, if you're dialed in, you'll get a lot out of it. I think with this movie, you're going to get a lot more of that verbal expression of what's going on. I think Lex's plan is going to be a lot clearer, right? And I think it is a very similar thing. Like, he's trying to turn the people against Superman, but it's him going on TV and saying, hey, we don't know what his intentions are. So I just think, and I don't want to say, oh, it's spelling it out more, but I think it'll just be a little bit more tangible and concrete for the viewer. And that probably for the best, I guess.
I think you and I have talked about this too, about like what we see all these iterations of Superman in all different TV, movies, media. We've had the conversation of like, what would it really look like if Superman was real in 2025?
I still think about that. I think about that when I'm in the shower.
And I honestly, I think that's what Gunn's trying to get at, because look at our culture right now. Like, everybody in our country thought like, of course character matters. Yeah. Of course character is important. But that's not always what drives the bus. And I think he's making a statement that, guess what? Superman is just as frustrated as all of us when I'm just trying to do what's right. What is hard about this? Yeah. And he's beating his head against the wall, just like all of us are. Like, hey, I just want to be kind to people. What's wrong with that? Nope. Gotta make a salty comment on Facebook. Yeah. No, you don't. Like,
I want to see the slow burn up to like, I saved a cow in Kansas, and now it's like, why don't you guys understand I'm doing the right thing? Why don't you understand I'm doing the right thing? And then it gets too much for him because he's Superman, but he's still a human in as much as like, why don't you guys get what I'm trying to do?
No, I know. I appreciate all this. And I it might be the sort of thing. This might be the Superman we need at this moment. And it might be that the frustration that he feels is something that we can identify with.
Yeah. He's the hero we need, but not the one that we deserve.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bringing it back to the Dark Knight. But look, and Gunn has been consistent with this from the start, this whole notion, the core idea of being a good man, trying to be a good man in a world that doesn't always make it easy or doesn't always want that. And I think that has come across in what we've seen. And I think if that core is there, I think that carries a lot. The other thing too, tying into what I was saying about this being more kind of tangible, more concrete, I think even in terms of the action, right? And just the overall presentation of the character, I think this is going to be much more grounded, less sort of mythic and soaring, and more like down on the ground, a lot more. I mean, look, the Snyder films gave us great action, but I feel like this is going to be a bit more kind of like muscular, kinetic. I mean, there's the clip of him getting
comic book looking.
Yeah, like there's the clip of him getting stomped by the kaiju, and then he's like rumbling underground as he digs his way out. Like, that's cool. So it'll be a different angle, but I think it'll be one that, that we haven't necessarily seen, at least not to that degree on the big screen. And, it could work.
Dude, it's so weird that you just, so like, I wear this shirt, right? And I'm just like, it's so hard, genuinely, today to not punch someone in the goddamn face. Like, it really is. And I was like this when I was younger, but like now I'm like, why can't I just solve it? Like, it's so hard to be like, you know what? Let him talk. It's just talk. Just walk away. Because people know that you can instigate all you want. But as soon as someone does something, they're the bad guy. And, you try to tell your kid, like, you know, I try to tell Hunter, like, you know, if it's a bully, take care of it, but definitely try to tell when I just want to be like, just punch him in the throat. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, solve the problem. But when you have that much power, which parents have that much power, teachers have that much power in different ways, you're like, it is so hard to be good, because what does being good get you? Nothing.
And what is it? And what does being good really look like?
Yeah.
What is doing right with no conditions?
Yeah. Because like back in the day, you talked shit, you got hit.
Yeah.
So people didn't talk shit. There was no keyboard commit. There was no keyboard. No keyboard commandos. Whatever you said, you had to back it up.
Yeah.
And fighting solved. And like people, fighting solved nothing. Back in the day, fighting solved everything.
Yeah.
There was no retaliation. If you lost, you lost.
It's going to be very interesting philosophically what comes from the movie too.
That's kind of where I went
like,
with that, where I was just like, you want to be good.
Yeah.
You want to have hope. But it's so hard to do.
I'm excited to watch it twice, because I think Thursday night for me is going to be the ooh. And then Friday, I know that me and Lana are going to be like, okay, what are they saying?
Yeah.
Well, yes, because look, the Lex piece of it is one thing, but when you go back to that interview scene with Lois and Clark, right, where he's intervened in this conflict, and he clearly hasn't thought through the larger geopolitical ramifications of this. But from his perspective, I saved lives in the moment. I stopped a war. But we don't know what the movie's ultimate lesson is going to be, or what Clark's ultimate takeaway. So I'm curious to see where he lands on that. Is the answer going to be like, no, I'm always going to do that no matter what in every instance? Or is there going to be a moment where there's a little bit more of a calculation? Like, I don't know. I'm curious, genuinely.
The piece we're missing too, which we haven't really seen yet, which I'm curious about, is where will the Daily Planet stand?
Yeah.
Is as all of this is happening, the Daily Planet is supposedly the truth, right? They stand for really telling the true story, sharing to the public who and what people really are. So what will they think?
This is, I know we're talking about serious stuff, but I got to tell you, there was one clip, you know, I talk about, is there going to be too much humor in this? There was one thing I saw that genuinely made me laugh so hard. So there's a bit where the Daily Planet crew is in that little shuttle. It looks like Mr. Terrific's vehicle.
Yeah.
And they're all strapping in.
Oh,
and Steve Lombard goes, why don't I have a seat?
And isn't that Beck Bennett?
It's Beck Bennett.
Dude, he's the best.
I feel like this Jimmy is going to be top tier. I feel like Steve Lombard is going to steal the show, because he also seems like overly eager to please Perry.
Yeah.
As much of a jerk as he can be. There's also the other clip where Clark walks in and he's like, hey, loser. And then Clark goes, hey, loser. Like, he says it right back to him.
Well, he's oddly endearing. Everything Beck does is endearing.
And they're using those characters effectively without doing it too much.
Correct.
Like, I can't remember the last time I remember a Lombard in a movie. Like, maybe in passing.
No.
He was in Man of Steel, but it
wasn't the same thing.
But in passing. Right? Like, Jimmy was in Man of Steel too, and he was a CIA agent or whatever the hell it was. But like, now they have characteristics. Now when he actually goes into the planet, there's going to be interaction as opposed to just, there's something, I got to fly out a window. He's building a community with these people.
Yeah.
Which, again, based on that last question, it's a lot. Shit, there's a lot going on. So you're building all of these, which is awesome. I love that. But you also have this one and this one and this fight. Yeah. So I hope that the trailer is a lot of, we showed you the first, because this has happened before, we showed you the first 20 minutes. You don't even know what's going to happen after that. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Build me the triangle era, everybody. Let's go.
Yeah, no, the fact that
that's what I like. I was like, ooh, we're starting to see it.
The fact that the world overall is this full, I know people have this concern about it being too busy, and there might be that risk, but it's one I'm willing to take to get Jonathan and Martha alive in the present, and to get Crypto, and to get the Fortress robots, and to get the Daily Planet staff. Like, that's great. And I hope they get the play. And like I said, if we have to sacrifice like Justice Gang development, I'm okay with it. I do hope the Daily Planet crew gets their play.
And let me tell you something. The one thing Gunn does do well, he kills animals, but he makes you love them, which is our concern.
Yes.
But the one thing he does well is he creates groups of things that you're like, I love these guys. Like the super robots. No one in their right mind would have done that, but he does it. He did it with Guardians. Like, dude, he brought Taserface in and like everyone laughed. But the fact that he's bringing in super robots, which everyone else could have been like, that's corny as shit. Why are you doing that for? That's a Gunn thing.
The Peacemaker,
he'll make you care about that stuff.
The Peacemaker supporting cast should now be anywhere as endearing as they are.
Yeah.
But like, it's awesome.
Yep. Like, he does that so well.
The show I want to see so badly come from this is a Daily Planet Max show.
Oh my God.
where that's the crew. And like Lois isn't even in it.
Yeah. And solving like a murder, like a Scooby-Doo gang.
But the guest star is like a Nathan Fillion. The guest star is, oh my gosh, a series finale is David Corn Sweat. Like, that's a show I'm dying to see.
Instead, we're getting Clayface movie.
Yeah, but my God, I would love a show like that. And look, Who Killed Jimmy Olsen could give us a great template to build off of. But we have a few more questions here. So this is from Brent.
Question 2.
No. We are actually winding down. Brent says, do you want a few minutes showing David or another younger actor as Superboy? And do you think they will?
No, I think he's going to play them.
No, but do you think it's going to be established that he was Superboy before he was Superman?
Oh.
No, because then
it is canon in the comics.
Oh, God. Yeah, but then aren't you just exchanging one long overdrawn origin story for another?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you have him, like the whole Krypton blowing up, and then it's like, here's a couple years. We don't need that either.
No, I can see
Pictures,
Dad.
cool.
Yeah, I can see Dad alluding to it. Like Pa might say something like, well, hey, listen, when you were a kid, you did this. You can't do it the same way you did when you were a kid.
Barn doors open and you just see like his feet dangling. It's like, this might be a problem. Boom, right into the future. Like I need all that stuff.
I don't need the whole
we talked about.
Yeah, no, I agree. We're not getting the full origin. I doubt. My gut is I don't think they're going to have Superboy be a part of this. Personally, I would be happy, especially if it is in the form of that kind of nod or something like that. Look, I've had my whole journey with Superboy, so I'd be there for it. And also, too, if you're doing a movie where you don't have to retell the origin, you don't have to figure out how do we go from Superboy to Superman. My great question to Mark Waid. You don't have to deal with that. No. You could just make it that it was a thing. I still don't think they will. And also, if we're going to go by that prequel novel, when he shows up as Superman, there's no instance anywhere of someone being like, oh, there was a Superboy. So I really don't think that's going to be the case. Chase says, I haven't been this amped for a movie in almost a decade.
Nice.
I've been following the progress since early 23. I still remember the first time I saw the Man of Steel suit reveal picture as a kid. God damn it,
dude.
And
what was that,
2013,
no,
2013?
Come on, man.
2013, I had my own. I had 2 kids, a house.
He said, I'll always remember the time I watched the Superman 25 teaser trailer. Honestly, watching that 2-minute teaser was more exciting than Christmas. However, I was inspired by Sweet Sweet, and I've also refrained from watching any other trailers or clips.
Good for him.
Look at
and
you.
he's stoked. He said he's been
amped
up about this.
If you knew James Gunn would pull a direct quote from a comic, what quote would you hope it would be? I mean, obviously.
Because of you, I want it to be that one too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was at his wedding. It was part of his ceremony.
Dude, it wasn't even, but in the night school graduation yearbook, that's the quote I put in.
What would you do? Like at the end of the movie, what would you do if you hear that? It's not it's about what you do. It's about action.
Dude,
you will probably either like you'll just like pee your pants.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know from one of the trailers, teasers, clips, whatever.
That Jonathan
the moment with Jonathan.
Something similar.
Oh, it was like that Father's Day.
Oh my
clip
God, I swear if that shows up, I'm gonna die.
Where he says it's your choices, it's your actions, right?
I know.
It's so close. We're so close.
I was like, you want to say, just say it. Just say the whole line.
I feel like there's a good chance we're going to get. It's about what you do. It's about action.
Oh my God.
And yes, I will be thrilled. And this is so self-serving. But the thing about it that I think will make me happiest is just knowing that like our digging for Kryptonite community, like all of the people who've been on the show and listened to the show are going to hear that and they'll think of what we do here.
Of course.
And I love that.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a good chance we'll get that.
Let's do it.
Is there any line that either of you really want?
I want
that's the one.
That's the one because now I hear that and it creates a picture of Superman in my head. Plus it's the only quote that you need. That's him, right? Like that's it. It's about what you do. It's about action. Like it has, and even if it's a variant, which Jonathan kind of said a variant, why make it a variant? Go all in, man. Put all your chips in. Everyone knows that quote. Like it's not one that like someone had to reach back and find. Right. It's popular.
I also I vaguely think that somehow the "You've Got Me, Who's Got You" is going to show up somehow.
Yeah.
Like I just think he's going to do a slight nod.
Yeah, we could see that. Yeah, it's a fine line, right, between those fun nods. I mean, even he was asked why it's Luthor Corp, not Lex Corp.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm a big fan.
Realized that.
Well, he says, he's like, I'm a big fan of Smallville, where there it was Luthor Corp. And that also allows...
I've still never seen the show.
And it also allows
it with Lana right now.
The opportunity to bring in Lex's parents at some point down the line. So I think we're going to get nods to stuff. I mean, again, it's a fine line between, that's a fun little Easter egg versus, okay, now you need to do your own thing here. But I think we'll be okay on that front. You know, to Chase's overall excitement, right?
I love it.
this is the sort of thing, like,
you should be excited.
Yeah. But I mean, are you guys, I guess you were already addressing this earlier in terms of like people asking you for recommendations and stuff like that. I mean, are you finding you're sensing anticipation from
other people?
non-hardcore
I'm
fans?
sensing more positive anticipation for this
Agreed.
than the prior incarnation.
Yeah.
Which it was a different world, like 2013.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was a long time ago. People expected different. But just from non-comic book people and comic book people, everyone's like, I've never heard I'm hesitantly optimistic so much as opposed to this is going to suck asses.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
It's just like, this is going to be terrible. I haven't heard that. I heard, I'm really excited about this, or I'm pretty optimistic about. I haven't heard anybody say, I saw one person, I think it was on the Digging for Kryptonite, it was like, I don't like it. And I'm like, okay,
all right.
Can you elaborate though? Because you know me, that's like, if you don't like
drives
it,
me crazy.
you got to tell me why.
Yeah.
Like, cite your source. Like, you're the source. You got to tell me why. If it doesn't look how you wanted it to, I understand. But then that's just aesthetic.
Right.
So what don't you like? Because then we can have a dialogue. If you just say this sucks or I don't like it, your opinion means nothing.
I've had more people who know how much I love this character come up to me randomly. Even people that only know a little just say, hey, I saw that trailer. Like, you've got to be excited. This looks good. So perfect strangers to Superman can tell what looks exciting. And they didn't say that when it came out in 2013.
No, I mean, that's awesome. And I definitely feel that kind of overall anticipation and excitement. I mean, when 2013 rolled around, it's like I was super excited for Man of Steel, but I was not as plugged in online, right? Certainly as I am now, and I wasn't doing this podcast. So I wasn't really tracking that so much, but it's cool to see how excited people are. It's funny, our friend in podcasting, Michael Bailey, posted a video recently where he's feeling some sort of way about the fact that, like, you have all these, for lack of a better term, like Johnny come latelys who are jumping on now. And he's like, hey, I've been following this all along.
Yeah.
I get where he's coming from on that. That doesn't bump me though. Like, I'm glad the more people who are in on this. Yeah. I will say one of the last things I want to ask you guys is about, like, are there any major deal breakers for you with this movie? And I'll say for myself, I don't know that I have many really, and certainly none that don't point to things we've already talked about. I think the thing that's going to annoy me the most is not the movie itself, but is kind of some of the reactions that we've already gotten and we're going to get. And sort of the overall thing beyond we're back. It's like, that's fine. But I think it's going to be this is Superman. Now we finally got a Superman. It's like, all right,
look,
relax.
Look, gear up. Cause it's going to look, people,
oh, for sure.
Like, people right now, before even seeing the movie, are already priming their fingertips for this sucks and it's
this
is the best. They've already decided in their head, because either they didn't like the last one or they want to poo-poo everything, that they've read before they even watched the movie. They've already decided, like, they've already typed it in. They're just waiting to hit post.
Yeah.
That's how excited they are about it.
Yeah. But do you guys have any, as far as the movie itself, or is there any deal breaker where you're like, if they do this, I'm out?
Actually, I would like to get through an entire movie with no main character dying. Like, I'm curious. Like, I don't want to see any. I don't want to see Lex die. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see any of the Daily Planet people eat it.
Well, it's Gunn. Crypto might die, dude.
Well, I'll lose.
I am a little worried about Crypto.
There's no reason for him to die.
I'm actually confident Crypto makes it out of the movie alive, but I'm worried about how roughed up he's going to get at the hands of the engineer when they attack the fortress. And I think that's going to be tough. I do worry for Jonathan, especially knowing what Gunn himself went through with his own father and how that was part of the inspiration for the writing of this. And his love of the Donner movie. No, look, you know where I stand on this, but I just prepare yourself, because I feel like that's probably a safe.
I don't want to say deal breaker, but I'll be like, gosh, I'm still going to listen. Let's be clear. I'm going to see this movie in the theaters probably 5 times. Like, I'm not even joking. And as long as it's going to stay out, I'll see it all summer.
And I'm telling you, right, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah. For different reasons.
I already know I'm going to enjoy it. There might be parts of it that I'm not really big on, but just based on what's been put out already, I'm going to enjoy the flick. If there's a deal breaker, I'll see it there and be like, why did they have hypno glasses? Right. But that's not a deal breaker. That's just like, why would you do that? A deal breaker to me is like, okay, a deal breaker to me is you kill Superman at the end and already bring in that story.
Right.
Like you said, main character dying. Like, for some reason at the end, they haven't showed you, but Doomsday shows up. Relax.
Yeah.
Don't do what the preview where you do too. Wait.
This last one, not a question, but a comment / advice from our pal Rick, who I think has a very good mindset.
I
think he has a very good mindset, and this is something I'll be reminding myself of, and I think everyone should. So he says, I'm not going in thinking if I don't get everything I want, then that means it stinks as a movie. Right. I hope people judge the movie on what it is and what it does, and not judge it because it doesn't live up to what they've built in their heads. It's okay to want things, but remember, it's the creator's vision. It's also okay to not like certain things and realize maybe it's not for you than to bash the movie. I have never once bashed the old franchise. I just realized that it's not for me. It's the fans who say that it's the only legitimate version, and if you don't like it, then your tastes suck or didn't understand it. So that's my final thoughts.
I like it.
I think I'm going to use my F if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
Go.
Because I have advice.
If you have kids in the car, cover their ears.
Yeah,
quick.
Earmuffs.
A quick one, and trust me, I'm going to lead up to it.
Ooh.
You are 20, 30, 40. You're going to see this movie. There might be a child next to you that's seeing Superman fly for the first time.
Agreed.
Shut the fuck up about if you don't like the movie. There's kids there. There's other people there.
Agreed.
They don't need to hear I can't wait to. There could be a kid who's never, ever seen any incarnation of Superman, and all he wants to do is see a piece of hope fly across the sky. They don't need you and your neck fat and your beard. I can't wait to stop. Let people enjoy the movie. You don't need to suck your teeth and do all the shut up, because other people there might be experiencing Superman the way you did when you fell in love with him for the first time. So don't say anything. Take it home, deal with it then, but do not ruin the time.
Yeah.
Not for adult, like, look, I'll just slap you. But if there's a child there and they're into it, do not ruin it for people who are just finding it.
Agreed.
That's my only thing.
Well, so beautifully said. A couple of things on that. So number one, I agree with all of that for all of those reasons. I wish my son, he's almost 6. I wish he were just a little bit older so I could take him to this, but I have shown him some clips, and we went to see How to Train Your Dragon, and they showed one of the little teasers. And just watching him watch it, it's like, oh, that's it. Right.
Yes.
So I do look forward to, maybe next year, the year after, when I could show this to him. We'll see when the Supergirl movie rolls around. When he's 7, we'll see. But I can't wait to share this with him. And yes, when he's 12 or 13, I really look forward to showing him the other movies and being like, look. But there's something to be said for that. And then kind of building off of that and Rick's point, I do have to check myself as well in that this is meant to be a movie for everyone. It's like, I mean, us here and people who listen to the show, it's like we've studied this character. Like we've... which creates certain expectations, certain preconceived notions. But it's like, no, got to remember that this is meant for a general audience. And so there are going to be things I might not agree with the choice, but I do have to take that into account. I really will do my best to do that.
Allow me to grace you with something from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Expectations are resentments in waiting. Don't expect just don't. Because at anything that you expect that doesn't happen, you're going to end up hating it. Don't even do that. And the other thing is, Rick made me think about it, and what you just said solidified it. Hunter has never owned a piece of superhero memorabilia ever. He's not into it. He likes anime. He's not a real superhero guy. He got a bunch of comics, Darkwing Duck. When I got him the Superman hat, my son doesn't even like to wear hats, and he was all about it because he's watched the That's why when I think about that, I will kill you in the movie theater. Do not ruin that stuff for my son. Don't. Yeah. Especially because you just want to say something, or you want to sigh, and you want to stop. You are not. The world does not revolve around you, no matter what your Instagram following says.
I love that. I love that every person in that theater is going to be coming at this movie from a very, very different angle. Yeah. Like Lana's going twice, not because I love it, but because we're on our second rewatch of Smallville. Like she loves the character and loves talking about it. She's like, oh, and Shelby, there's a dog in the movie, but it's crypto, but I love that there's a dog. And yeah, like I would not want somebody ruining it for her. And she's 18. And she has her own thoughts. Yeah. Like I'm excited for us to go get food after and just
talk about it.
Deconstruct it before I deconstruct it 5 hours later with him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Plus, if you're a Superman fan, why do you want to be negative about it anyway?
I know.
Isn't that kind of the opposite of just the idea? Whichever version you love.
Be negative about Fantastic Four. It's fine.
Yeah. It's so funny. because that movie's coming out later in the month. By the way, I'm going to do.
I know, I'm excited.
I have
too.
my tickets. We're going to do a Patreon episode.
Oh, look at
on
that.
the Fantastic
Are you
Four.
really?
Are we allowed?
Well, I made it a ruling because the show's called Beyond Metropolis, and the
Decent temp.
MCU is Beyond Metropolis. And Sean Hendricks from Fat Moose is going to join me, so we are going to
I
talk
think you
about
should
it.
have 4 people. No, it takes 3 people enough to not talk over each other. You can't.
We're doing all right. So far.
We've been doing well, but here's the thing with Fantastic. I'm glad you guys brought that up because I've been watching a lot of the Fantastic Four stuff, and it's like I'm so casual about it,
Yes.
right? I don't feel strongly. So
Sure.
the Thing has a beard. He doesn't want to say it's clobbering time. That's fine. I don't care. Whereas I know I'm sure there are hardcore FF fans who are like, "Wah!" And
He did have a beard. Please, I heard about that ad. No, I'm like, you just found that out.
Yeah.
Shut up.
But the thing is, part of me wants to say, oh, I wish I could be that casual about Superman. But the truth is I don't, right? I'm glad that I feel as strongly as I do.
no.
But it's just funny.
It's our thing.
It's funny to have such a different reaction and to know that there are people as worked up about FF
Oh, yeah.
as there are about Superman.
And
And it's
if
just
you've
totally
seen-
different.
Yeah.
If you've seen the post-credit sequence at the end of the new Avengers / Thunderbolts, you can already piece together something did not go well.
And I was already pissed. I was already pissed watching that because like you just spoiled FF. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
All right, winding us down here. We touched on this earlier, but go-to movie snacks. Like,
Oh,
Bernie,
gosh.
what will you be getting? If you even do snacks, I don't want to assume. Some people don't have anything.
You know, we
How?
usually that's crazy.
Communists.
I usually don't get a drink because I don't want to.
you wanna go to the bathroom.
dude.
Okay.
I'm like the worst,
All right, I
man.
get
Like
that.
at this point, especially, I think I peed 3 times during Oppenheimer. For God's
Dude,
sake.
I just wear Depends. I'm
Oh
not getting
my
up.
God. I'm gonna wear a golden corral. Just let it go. We usually we'll do popcorn. We like it. We like a chain called Classic Cinemas because it's free pop and free soda and popcorn refills.
I knew what you meant by pop, but I appreciate you
I know.
clarifying.
I'm sorry. I did soda for the East Coasters here.
I was like, is that what they call popcorn?
They do. But my favorite go-to, I do Reese's Pieces with popcorn at the same time. Tastes awesome.
Oh, sweet and savory?
Yeah, baby.
What about you?
It's not sweet Bernie anymore.
It's sweet and savory.
Sweet and savory, Bernie.
Pretzel bites. And
Oh.
they are hard. Listen, I was going to I'm going to have a cheat day. Well, I count my macros, so technically nothing's a cheat day, but I was like, how bad can they be?
Terrible.
200
Yeah.
and 64 carbs, not including the cheese.
Oh, yeah, the cheese
and
is
I was
the
like,
part.
well, not where, pretzel bite, but they're gone before the movie even starts.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like I inhale those things, and then at AMC they do mini churros with like the cinnamon dipping sauce. Guy, so good.
Back in the day when AMC, I don't think they still do food at AMC.
They do.
They do? They had,
They have sliders at AMC.
they had
and they're
buffalo
good.
wings. I used to get the buffalo wings and blue cheese. Oh, it was a mess.
Now, does that count as a movie? Like now, because there's so many. Like, are we talking?
meal.
That's not a movie snack, though.
No, I was thinking
That's
more,
like a
yeah, like
dinner.
Popcorn
like
candy.
popcorn candy
Yeah,
sort of
no,
thing.
or sweet pop. Like I like caramel corn.
Oh.
I like stuff like that. Popcorn is okay, but I like popcorn that's sweet. Or
I like-
pretzel bites.
I like enough-
pretzel bites are.
I like enough butter on it where like it's like
It's just everywhere.
going through the bucket. Like it's just like on me.
All right, so for me, it's popcorn all day. No butter, though. I do no butter for me.
Really?
Yeah,
None?
no butter, no.
What?
How do you even swallow that? You choke
Communist?
it
Nah, it's fine.
down? Weirdo. Oh no,
That was
no.
under his breath. It didn't count.
I said hucking.
Yeah,
Huckin',
it's fine.
Huckenberry.
But no, for me, it's popcorn. Always been popcorn.
Just straight
I
popcorn,
remember,
huh?
yeah,
Wow,
and I
like kettle
remember, well, like now at Alamo, I mean, I'll get, like, especially if we're going during a lunch or dinner time, I'll get a burger first, right?
Oh,
But as far
nice.
as true movie snacks,
yeah.
it's always popcorn. And it's funny to talk about, like, who doesn't get snacks. I remember for a long time going to movies, especially with, I feel like friends from school and or friends from the comic shop, a lot of them would not get stuff. And I would
Yeah.
always be like the only one or one of the only ones getting it. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And then when I started dating my now wife and she was all in on the popcorn, I'm like, oh, we're
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
We're good. No, I
don't
love
know-
my popcorn.
I don't know anybody that you're weird. You don't get a drink, but now I understand.
No,
why.
now I do.
I
I used
understand
to
why.
and I learned my lesson.
I don't know anybody. Like, look. So back in the day, we didn't have much. Like, so my mom would bring snacks.
That's what
Sure.
we used, that's what we did a lot.
because we thought shit was expensive.
Yeah.
And then you look at it now, and it wasn't.
No.
Yeah, we used to bring stuff, but now I think because of that, I'm like, Hunter, get whatever you want. These plebs, take whatever. And I'm
Yes.
like throwing money all over because I'm an AMC Stubs member. Let me tell you something.
It
I'm
racks
not
up.
sponsored by them, but yo,
Yeah.
at one point I bought like $85 worth of stuff. I paid $20 after paying $9
Yeah.
for 3 tickets.
It
It's
pays off.
Totally worth it.
Nice.
AMC, hook Anthony up.
Yeah,
with
between
that.
Alamo and AMC, we should be getting kickbacks from this one.
I know.
I
Well,
don't want kickback from anything. Jesus.
listen, on that note,
Depends.
since we're going to be doing 5 episodes,
Sorry.
all good.
Got a Superman logo on it?
Oh,
Well, speaking of sponsors, right? Since we're doing 5 episodes over a week, I'm not going to run all of our ads in every episode, but I thought each episode we could spotlight one of our sponsors.
Oh.
DeVoe, you are the man behind our Fat Moose Comics commercials.
Yeah.
And sweet, you just visited Fat Moose. So I thought maybe for this first kickoff episode, we could talk about
love
Fat
it.
Moose. Just give a shout out to our pal, Sean Hendricks in Whippany, New Jersey. What do you guys want to say about the store?
So I'm going to go with the realism of places that we love, comic book stores that we love. They are closing all over the place, man. Brick and mortar stores are not staying open. We thought, or everyone thought, because I talked to Mike from the Stash about it, superhero movies is going to make comic reading go up. It did not. Actually, I know more comic book stores that closed over the past year than I think over the last 10 years combined. The people bring joy by supplying these things. If you have kids, and this is something that you grew up, go get something from your local store. My local store is Fat Moose. It's great. It's a hangout. It's like it's like being on the show, just in a place. Sean's great. He's a crotchety old dude. He's supposed to be, but he treats everyone with respect that comes in there. If he doesn't have something, he definitely knows a guy to get it. You get like 10 or 15% off if you're just go support these places. Because if we just have movies, then we're just going to have to order everything from Amazon. And Fat Moose is great. Stop in there, get something for someone. Forget Superman movies come out. You're going to need some backup.
Go pick up a compact comic, a DC trade. Listen, all I got to say is 2 things about Fat Moose. Like, my wife came in with me. Every time we visit a comic shop, she doesn't always come into a new shop. But she knew that I knew of Sean, and she's like, I want to meet this guy. It's cool that you know him, and you've always wanted to stop at this shop. We go up right away.
He must have freaked.
Well, it's a funny story. So, like, we walk in, he's on the phone, and my wife's like, oh, this is such a cool shop. It's so organized. I love it. It's got everything. It's not too big. It's not too small. She goes, wow, it's on the 2nd floor. That's really hard to deal with. And she goes, I've been in a lot of shops. This is a nice shop, Bernie. So right away, my wife's like, ring an endorsement. She's in. The coolest thing is me and Sean are eventually talking, and there's a kid waiting to pay. Now, the whole time me and Sean are talking with Renee, this kid has been looking through the whole store, maybe like an 8th grader. And we finally get to come and pay. And like, I was going to take care of my book. And then Renee goes, oh, you know what? This kid's been waiting, listening to you 2 knuckleheads talk forever. Like, let him cut in. And then Sean said, oh, what brings you in today? I'm glad you're buying some stuff. And the kid goes, this is my first time ever being in a comic book shop.
Oh,
He's an 8th.
That's awesome.
He was like, maybe 8th grade. He said, I've been watching the
He was there by himself?
He's by himself.
Oh, that's
by himself.
awesome.
He probably biked over there. He had a little backpack. He goes, I've been watching The Big Bang Theory. I love that show. And he goes, and it got me interested in wanting to read comics. They seem so happy and interested. Kids like 14 saying this to us. He bought like 5 books, and my wife was like, good for you. He goes, this is going to be the best. You're going to love this. You got to come back to this shop. My wife, who's not like, she's through association. Yeah. And then Sean's like, that's awesome. So like, it was really, really cool. And Sean is awesome. He knows a ton. He's fun to talk to. He freaked out because he's on the phone, and we're talking.
But can only freak out so much because he was on the phone.
So, but like, and he goes, hey, I'm sorry, I'll be right with you. And I said, no worries. So we're talking. He gets off the phone. I said, hey man, I don't know if you know me. I'm Bernie. And he goes, sweet Bernie. and Renee's like, oh my God, are you serious? So, and basically he goes, I heard your voice.
And knew it was you.
And I was on the phone thinking like, that can't be sweet Bernie. And he's like, so it was awesome. Like, and again, go to Fat Moose. It is a great shop. You will not be disappointed. And you will find something you will walk away happy with.
beautiful. All right. We'll be spotlighting our other sponsors and our other episodes to come. So guys, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we'll have new episodes each of those days. This is the first, probably only time we'll do this, but we're going to go all out. It'll be a lot of fun, a lot of recording. Each of these guys will be back for more. Mike San Gregorio is going to join me for one. Zach Moore is going to join me for one. It's really going to be a blast. So keep tuning in. And I guess just enjoy the movie. To you guys and to everyone listening to this, enjoy the movie. I hope you have a blast, and we'll talk about all of it. So thank you guys so much for joining me. This was a blast.
Yeah,
It
bro.
always is.
All right, folks. Enjoy James Gunn's Superman. Keep tuning in. And until then, as always, it's about what you do. It's about action. Support the show and receive exclusive content, including the spin-off podcast Beyond Metropolis, advanced listens, and more by becoming a member at patreon.com/Anthony Desiato. My sincere thanks to all patrons. Subscribe, rate, and review today via your platform of choice, and continue the conversation by joining us on social media. Links are in the show notes. Flat Squirrel Podcast is also home to another exciting episode in the Adventures of Superman, now covering the color era of the classic George Reeves series. Subscribe today.